What's up, guys? Beer here back at the Fantasy Bar. 6 of my favorite plays for a big Wednesday night in the NBA, including what game I'm stacking up, my favorite value plays, what guys I'm spending up on, and of course, my favorite play of the night. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome back, guys. Fantasy Bar ready to rock here on a big Wednesday night of NBA Hoops, Beer's Daily Fantasy 6-Pack. Good to be talking here in the Fantasy Bar with you guys once again, transitioning from talking about out-of-shape, middle-aged guys trying to play basketball at the RotoGrinders party back to some stud athletes here in the NBA. We'll cover FanDuel, DraftKings, and Yahoo with all of my favorite plays for the night. Before we do that, guys, a couple of things. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Get notified when videos are coming out. Also, if you enjoy the Fantasy Bar, whether you're a long-time viewer or it's your first time here, welcome. Do me a favor, click that thumbs up button. Really helps us out over there on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate it. One more thing before we dive in, the single entry series is back over on FanDuel. So just as it says, everybody gets one lineup. The beauty of this is your top 4 scores count for the week towards the leaderboard. 6 weeks of contest, $30,000 prize pool in an online final. For those finalists, somebody's going to walk away with $10,000 on top of what you win while playing these tournaments. So one entry, that baby will fill fast. A $3 entry today. Look for the RotoGrinders logo in the FanDuel lobby and get entered in the single entry series and play against me tonight over on FanDuel. All right, let's get you some plays for that, for the other games. Before we dive into things here, 6 guys probably not going to fit on DraftKings, FanDuel a little bit easier. And just know, this is not meant as a lineup building process. This is meant to give you guys I like. They may not all fit in the lineup. Sometimes you got to move some things around, and that's the case today over on DraftKings. FanDuel can definitely make it happen, so just wanted to let you know about that. All right, let's get into the plays here for Wednesday night. Big slate of games. Looks like a fun slate of games. Let's start the point guard position with Mike Conley of the Jazz. So Conley stepped back in the starting lineup last game, top 30 minutes, also went over 30 fantasy points as you'd expect. The thing that did not go up, besides the fantasy points in a minute, is the price. DraftKings, sure, bumped him up to $5,100, still way too cheap. FanDuel, $4,300, probably the best value on the board if you're playing cash games. Lock him in, tournaments, plenty of upside as you see. With 30 fantasy points, we're talking about an easy 7x return on that salary. And the matchup here, fantastic. Denver bottom 10 in defensive efficiency against the point guard position. So Conley back in that starting lineup. Look at what you were paying earlier in the season for him. An easy lock and load in cash games and tournaments. Love him there as well, especially on FanDuel at only $4,300. All right, what are we going to do with those savings for Mike Conley? We're going to spend up at the center position. KARL-ANTHONY Towns of Minnesota. So yes, you're paying over 10 on both sites, but I think well worth it here tonight. We're talking about pretty much a 50 burger each and every night for KARL-ANTHONY Towns. In fact, he's done that on DraftKings in 6 of the last 7 games. And let's go back to the last game versus Atlanta. Tore it up, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, and even 2 block shots in that game. And we know this Atlanta interior has not gotten any better. They do not defend anybody. And as you see, give up a ton of fantasy points here. A pace-up game. Minnesota projected one of the highest team totals we have on the board here tonight. They're shorthanded, and KARL-ANTHONY Towns balls out here tonight against the Atlanta Hawks. So we mentioned Minnesota being shorthanded. How many Wolves is too many? I think you want to cram a few in your lineup. Let's get another one here in the 6-pack. Small forward Josh OKOGIE. So a lot of these guys are going to be popular tonight for a good reason. This team is going to play with very limited bodies here tonight. And I think OKOGIE, one of those guys, can really help you out, get some value in your lineup. We mentioned Minnesota projected for a ton of points here tonight. Well, they're projected for over 9 more points than their season average. So a great matchup here, we know, with the defenseless Atlanta Hawks. Scoring wings have been a thorn in the side of the Hawks, one of the worst teams in defense versus archetype against that type of player. Again, can always find that information right here on RotoGrinders.com. But OKOGIE, a great value here tonight. Should play a ton of minutes. Was already playing solid mid-20s minutes. I'm expecting that number to creep up closer to 30. We've seen some 30 burgers out of this game. And if we can approach an 8, 9, 10x upside return here, I think it's very possible Josh OKOGIE should end the night. One of the best value plays on the board. All right, we like Minnesota. Well, let's go to the other side of the game. Really like Atlanta as well. We're going to roll with their stud point guard, TRAE. So again, DraftKings, it's going to be tough to fit these guys in, but if you build this stack of this game, these are the pieces that I wanted it. FanDuel, you can definitely get it done a little bit easier. We're talking about huge upside here. You know that. You've rostered Trae Young. You've used him before. If you haven't, you've seen guys at the top of the leaderboard with Trae Young. 70 burgers. In fact, he's done it 3 times over the last couple weeks, so massive upside here, even at 10K-ish price tags. And against Minnesota last game, KARL-ANTHONY Towns was impressive. Trae Young was just as good in that game, 37, 9, and 6. And if he didn't have the 7 turnovers, the numbers would have been even better there in the fantasy point department. But Minnesota, another team, really struggles with players like Trae Young, one of the worst teams in the league in defense versus archetype against a player like Trae Young. So pay the money, worth it here tonight. Love this game, love the studs in this game, and plenty of value on the Minnesota side. Makes this game very stackable with Trae Young. Viable in all formats and on all sites here tonight against Minnesota. All right, let's go to the next play. You can play him at point guard, shooting guard, small forward. Depends on where you're playing. KRISTAPS LEVERT of the Nets. So the weird point guard, small forward pairing on DraftKings for LEVERT. Shooting guard eligible over on FanDuel, which I love plugging him into that spot. Tough position over there tonight. What? No Kyrie Irving. Very simple. Takes a ton of usage out of that lineup, and we saw LEVERT really step up. And it's not only the fantasy points I'm looking at, big minutes there as well. They need that scoring punch out of him. Spencer Dinwiddie, a fine play as well, but LEVERT remains too cheap here, only $4,500 on FanDuel. Even DK with the bumped up price to $5,700, still plenty of meat on that bone to get it done and to vastly outproduce these salaries. Warriors, no matter what we look at here, they are bad. Fantasy points allowed, defense versus archetype, defensive efficiency. We could go on and on and on here. We're going to cut them off. We're going to stop with all the numbers here. Golden State, terrible defensively. LEVERT gives the Nets that offensive punch. They are lacking without Kyrie Irving. Don't overthink this one. Get them right back in those lineups here tonight. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for Wednesday night. But before we do that, guys, we're going to continue to run it back and say thank you to you guys for watching the video, for hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you've done that. For subscribing to the video. We're going to do it again with the Beast of the Night contest. All you got to do, get in the comment section below the video. Let me know fantasy points for my Beast of the Night. Let's go with DraftKings tonight. And the closest guess going to win themselves 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. So no stat lines. Don't give me a FanDuel stat line. I need a DraftKings stat line. DraftKings fantasy points, that is, for my Beast of the Night. For that shot at some RotoGrinders Premium. So, who are we looking at? Who are we guessing on? Let's take a look. My favorite play for Wednesday night. You know, Mass, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We've saved you some money. We've spent some money. We're going to go up towards the top, not all the way up here, but we're going to spend some more money here at power forward center. KRISTAPS Porzingis, tonight's Beast of the Night. Now, you talk about a beast. You take Luka Doncic out of this lineup, and KRISTAPS Porzingis has been an absolute monster, too. Back-to-back, huge double-doubles for Porzingis, and it obviously makes a lot of sense. No Luka in that lineup. Numbers jump way up for Porzingis. Talking about almost 1.4 fantasy points per minute. We're talking about a usage rate that almost touches 30% here, and Memphis has struggled with this position, giving up a lot of fantasy points to the power forward position. You say, hey, he might play some center. They're middle of the pack there as well. The point is, they need offense. Luka off the floor leaves a lot of numbers on the floor, and Porzingis has done his best Superman impersonation here, picking up the slack. I don't think that stops here with this matchup with Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr., a guy that you can get into foul trouble very easily, and Porzingis does whatever he wants here tonight, goes nuts here again. And again, prices have not adjusted, under 9K on both sides. Easy plug and play for me. KRISTAPS Porzingis, easily my favorite play on the night, and tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that wraps up for Wednesday night in the Fantasy Bar. As always, any comments, questions, feedback, whatever you guys want to talk about, get in the comment section right below the video. Don't forget, fantasy points for Porzingis on DraftKings for your shot at 3 free days of RotoGrinders Premium. And make sure you enter the single entry series. Don't wait. That baby will fill up. Only $3 over there on FanDuel. Everybody gets one lineup. Let's see whose lineups are the best. And I will be in there. Bring it. Let me know your team name. Let's go head-to-head in that single entry series. Looking forward to it. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck tonight, guys. We'll We'll take tomorrow off, kind of a thin schedule of games. Be right back here on Friday with 6 more plays for you. Good luck. We'll see you on Friday.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist.